But of course, you know, our attention this time around is on the national minimum wage. There's been a back and forth between Labour and the federal government. There is a committee on the national minimum wage. The vice president is spearheading that. And on one hand, the leadership of the Nigerian organized labor on their own. So there are consultations already being made, and there are figures that have been bandied around. But out of some of the consultation, the Trade Union Congress, as an arm of the organized labor, have emerged from their meetings and making some propositions, which eventually we understand there will be an alignment with the NLC, and they will bring forth a proposition of a figure for the national minimum wage, which will now go into the consultation with the committee on the national minimum wage to be ratified. Then it might be gazetted and passed into law. I'm being joined by the president of the Trade Union Congress, Comrade Festus Osifo. He joins us live here in our Abuja studio. Thank you so much indeed, Comrade.
Thank you so much, Sheung. Good evening to you, and good evening to the teaming Nigerians that have.
I know there is a connection between the organized labor and the Labour Party.
Yeah.
Maybe TUC has not been so deeply involved in the leadership problems that have been, but NLC have been deeply involved. I know that TUC is a stakeholder in the Labour Party affair. But what do you make of the emergence of Mr. Julius Abure as the national chairman of the party?
Yes, first, Sheung, before we go into that, I wish to, because I was listening to you when we were discussing about the slain officers and soldiers. I became a bit emotional, you know, watching the program over again and listening to Bulama Bukati. I wish to join the teaming Nigerians, millions of Nigerians, to commiserate with the commander-in-chief of the Nigerian forces, as well as the Nigerian military, for the dastardly act that took place in that community somewhere in the south in Nigeria, the Okwoma community. For us, you know, in labor movement, we always say that injury to one, it's injury to all. So slaying soldiers in that way that it happened for us is condemnable, and we wish to join our voice in asking the military and all law enforcement agencies to bring the perpetrators to book. Having said that, Sheung, on the issue of Labour Party, for us, in Trade Union Congress of Nigeria, we decided to stay away. We stood away because there are a lot of things. There are a lot of uncertainties and a lot of things that weren't that clear. Because, Sheung, I wouldn't want to dabble clearly into the imbroglio between the NLC and the Labour Party. But just to state this, Sheung, if today I register a party, let's assume I bring 5 of my friends together and we register a party, then I have that certificate of a party under in my wardrobe. That party is going to have a constitution, and the constitution of that party is going to be filed with the Independent National Electoral Commission. Once we file the constitution of that party, what that means is that the party will take the life of its own. Yes, there are institutional representation, both at the National Working Council, the NEC, as well as the Board of Trustees. There are institutional representations of NLC and TUC over there. But overall, Sheung, once you form that party, then it is my responsibility to go and mobilize members across the wards and of the federation into that party. If I don't do it, and somebody else now goes around to do the mobilization of members into the party, you know, politics starts from the ward. Politics start from the basics. So when I will mobilize people, when somebody else will not mobilize people into that party, we will now go for a convention. And at the end of the day, I've registered the party, but what have I done to ensure this party is viable? And other people now come in the process and mobilize people into the party, from the wards to the local government, to the state, and to the federal, and to the federation, to the federal. And they will now go into a convention. How will I win such convention? So again, for us, we think that the labor movement has to do much more rather than, sound bites here and there. We need to do much more. If we think that our Labour Party belongs to us, what have we done? How many members have we mobilized into Labour Party in the last 1, 2, 3, 4 years? Those should be the cross. Because if we don't mobilize people into that party, if we don't register 1, 2, 3, 4 million of our members into that party, then some other people are doing it. It is difficult for us to consistently say that the certificate of registration of a party lies under our bed. So my encouragement is that Labour Party as it stands today, yes, it was registered by NLC as claimed. The certificate is there, but it was human being in NLC that subscribed to it. Those that registered the party today in NLC, where are they? The likes of Adams Oshomole, the likes of Shola Iji, and a whole lot of them. Where are they today? Are they still members of this party? So I think that all stakeholders need to sit down together and harmonize on the way forward. As Abure has emerged today, I just want to appeal to him that he should be magnanimous in victory by calling all the stakeholders together for everybody to sit down and itemize and determine the way forward regarding the party.
Let's go into this very important matter. I would want Labour Party matter to distract us. National minimum wage is a very crucial matter. And we, from what I see, it does look like the Trade Union Congress have decided and have made its own proposition and it stands. And I've seen that from 30,000 naira, you have gone way over almost 500,000. You've done 447,000 naira. That is what the Trade Union Congress is proposing. How do you come about that figure?
Yes, Seun, thank you so much for leaving the Labour Party thing and coming into a much more comfort zone for us. Yeah, you know, if you remember very well, Seun, I knew you did economics in secondary school. There is this popular book called A.O. Lawal. So A.O. Lawal then, you know, in defining what money is, he said money is a store of value. So what that means is that what you are being paid, or rather, the money that you owe today reflects a value in it. You will agree with me, Seun, that when the minimum wage of 18,000 naira was passed by the Goodluck administration as at then, you would realize that 18,000 naira, if you see the analysis that we did, was somewhere around $130, $140. Why are we using? We can literally use anything to measure the value of the money as at then. We could use dollars. We could use how much bag of rice could that money buy. We could use how many tubers of yam and tomatoes could that money buy. So when we did the analysis, we now realized that as at then, what that money came to then was about 125 or thereabout USD. Then when the last minimum wage act was signed into law in 2019, what we had then was 30,000 naira. And that 30,000 naira as at then, the conversion rate then was about 325 naira to $1. That gave us somewhere around $95. So today, if you look at the state of the economy, if you look at the purchasing power parity, if you look at the consumer price index, you will realize that the value of our money has completely eroded. When the 18,000 naira was passed, a bag of rice as at then was around 7,000 naira. What that means is that the 18,000 naira could buy you close to 3 bags of rice. But today, Seun, a bag of rice is going for almost 90,000 naira. That means what the 18,000 naira could have bought then, you need 90,000 to buy 3 bags of rice that 18,000 naira could have bought then. You now need to have 90,000 naira times 3. That is only about 270,000 naira. But families will not live on bag of rice alone. So what we did, how we came to that was this. So as part of a tripartite committee, there was a zonal hearing. So there was a zonal hearing, a public hearing across the 6 geopolitical zones from the northeast, northwest, north central, southeast, south, and southwest. So in this hearing, so TUC came up with what we think would be a living wage. But although, you know, when you are going to negotiation, you don't go with your rock bottom. Because by the time you go with your rock bottom, you must move. So
this is your possibly
our demand.
Your demand.
This is our charter of demand.
You have you listed several issues that brought you to that figure.
Correct.
Continuous increase in electricity tariff, need to pay a living wage, inflation, removal of subsidy, and an increase in the prices of petroleum, the FX, all of these issues. But if you look at the screen right now, this is a screen grab of some of the indices. What you have now said is an estimated monthly expenditure per household comprising father, mother, and 4 children. So if you look at it, so you said utility. Can you quickly explain how you got to 447 20,000 naira. So you're saying an average Nigerian worker, the minimum wage for it should be $298.
Yes, correct. Okay. As when we did this, the dollar was about 1,500, 1,600, but today it has moved down to about 1,300. But quickly, if you look at it, so we put rent there. A family, let's assume they are staying in a room and a parlor. That's the least that they could afford. It's going to be about 20,000 naira per month. Then you look at what is the cost of power. Today, to even get a power of 20,000 naira is difficult, most especially if you are doing the either the prepaid or the postpaid bills. Then water, about 5,000 naira. Then kerosene or gas, about 20,000 naira per month. Then if you look at a meal, so we said that a meal of one meal would be about 400 naira. And so you know that to even get a meal of 400 naira today is difficult. But conservatively,
you might buy rice and beans without meat.
Without meat, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So the meal is about 400 naira per person, 3 square meal a day. By the time you do that calculation, it's going to come up to 216,000 naira per month. So that is where you have a chunk of the money, because today you know what is happening to food inflation. Then when you look at the medicals, you have to go to hospital. So even if you are doing the health insurance scheme, about 30,000 naira per month, because government
malaria being the most common, one of the most common.
Absolutely.
Disease. How much does it take to buy a sachet of malaria dose? I mean, that's divided by 6 people.
Yes, 30,000. Yeah, that may be about 500 naira per person. You are talking about malaria now. What if you have the child has eye problem? What if the child is having cholera? Then the money could even be much more than that. Then if you come down, you look at education, you're going to send your child to school. Maybe you have one child in the university. Then if he's going to school at the end of the month, you are going to pay some money. But again, even that 40,000 naira for a child in university, imagine a father and a mother having 2 kids in the university, 40,000 naira per month will not even be able to take care of them. But conservatively, we put it at that. Then sanitation and another about 10,000. Then transportation, 3,000 naira per day. Shehu, you know very well, here in Abuja, if you are commuting from Lugbe or from Yanyan to the central area to go to work and you go back, you're going to spend not less than 1,500 naira per day. So by the time to and fro, 1,500 naira one way. To and fro is going to give you 3,000 naira. So when we summed all that together, we came up with about 447,000 naira as our demand. This was publicized across the 6 geopolitical zones on March 7th.
So, if it was if leaders in this country have really done what needs to be done, there are items on this list that should not even be there, Absolutely. That no one should even be bothered about. Take, for example, medicals at the basic level should be free.
True.
Education, public education should be free.
True.
I think a whole lot of stuff there should be free. In fact, food and some other subsidies on things that people of low income strata in the society should get. But here we are today, and hoping that the Tinubu government, who says that they want to give loans to students who are indigent, might be able to come through. And some of these also welfare package that the government is looking might be able to help. But you wanted to make a comparison across the country.
Yes.
Something that might be also the indices that gave rise to this figure. Give us an understanding of what you came out about.
Yes. So now, if you check what we have there, we have about 298 USD. When we did this calculation, the exchange rate was about 1,500, 1,600. But when you compare this across board, Sheon, you are going to see that today, the minimum wage that we have in a place like Libya, the minimum wage in a place like Morocco, they are much more than $300. They are much more than $300. If you look at Libya, Libya is $325 per month. If you look at Morocco, it's $315 per month. Even look at a country like Gabon, that literally don't have anything much compared to what we have in Nigeria here. Their minimum wage is $256. Look at South Africa, Mauritius, and so you could see that what we are asking fell within this boundary. But she'll look at the minimum wage in Nigeria as at today, $20. This is completely unacceptable. This is something that the government must think about. Just what you have said. In this country, Shehu, if you go to Libya, where they are paying a minimum wage of 325, they have good healthcare system. If you go to Libya, they have good water system. If you go to Libya, in fact, literally education is free for Libyans. So for these countries that are paying this level of minimum wage, don't even talk about Seychelles, that is close to $500 per month. For these countries that are paying this level of minimum wage, you could see that the quality of life in those countries are much more better. From what you have said, during elections, government every day, they tell us a lot of things they want to do, that they want to bring prosperity to the people. Government tells us that they want to make life better for the people, how they are going to generate wealth, how they are going to generate income. But immediately they win elections and they are sworn in, they will start lamenting. But all we told them, like in the meetings we have today, we kept telling them that lamentation is not the way to go. You are voted to create wealth. You are voted to generate wealth. It is not that you are voted in, you fold your arm and you'll be waiting for federal allocations to be shared. For us, that is not the way to go.
So, let's bring this conversation home now. I'm worried because whoever is watching us now and works for a state government, or local government, they will imagine, this is not for you. This is for those who work for the federal government. It's a national minimum wage. And the state government, some state governments in Nigeria have not even been able to fulfill the 30,000 minimum wage. Some of them are in breach of that code.
So, Shehu, if you see...
That's a big fear. That if it's now jacked up, and this is how many percentage. If it's your figure now is 447,000 naira, is how much percentage on 30,000?
Shehu, first of all, like I have said, this is a demand that we have put forward. Yeah. But beyond that as well, Shehu, look at even the state. As at April, what was shared as federal allocation was somewhere around 400 billion. But you could remember that the last month, what was shared was close to 2 trillion. So what that means is that what is the portion of money that is accruable to state has grown up astronomically. And majority of that money is attributable to the exchange rate. The naira portion is growing, but the dollar version is not growing. So if, for example, if the monies that are accruable to state from the federation account is about ×4 or ×5 today, you will realize that most of the state governors, they should be able to do much more. A particular state that I know, the wage bill before now, the allocation to that state was about 2.5 billion naira per month. But in the last FAAC allocation, it was about 10 billion that they shared. What that means is that that particular the allocation to that state has moved from by ×4. So it has moved by ×4. So all we are asking is that these state governors, they must be responsive. Beyond the money they share in Abuja, Nigeria, we are blessed countries. These governors, they must be up and doing. These governors, they must put in their thinking cap. They told us these lovely stories during their electionary campaign.
That is, the pressure seems to be on the federal government. And by the way, we are hearing some news as how the dollar is crashing on the street of Area 1, Wuse, and the rest. And that's good news anyway.
Very well.
And kudos to Cardoso, the president, and their team. That's the kind of news we want to hear. We want to see the dollar crash more in value to the naira. That's some good news. But the question is that the pressure is more to the center. These states, the federating units need to get a hit so that people living in the state can get the benefit of living in a country that works.
Sure. We are designing as part. I'll quickly make reference to the dollar before. So we are designing a system as part of the minimum wage negotiation on sanctioning, that when the new minimum wage is passed, there must be sanctions to state government that are not being responsive. Maybe they are FAAC allocation. Maybe the federal government can pay some money directly to the workers instead of giving it to the state. Sheung, you remember very well that sometime in February, as in Trade Union Congress of Nigeria, we came up with 15 points demand. And the number one in that demand was about how government could crash the Naira. And we are happy that all the conversations that we have had behind the scene, they made some certain promises and they are living up to it. We will continuously hold them accountable. We'll continuously push them to ensure that the price of dollar go beyond, or rather below, much more below 1,000 Naira. Because the fair value of Naira is somewhere around 600 to 700 at a maximum. And we want government to get to that level because that is what is solely responsible for the high cost of goods that we have today. That is what is responsible for the customs, for importers not to be able to clear their goods from wharf. That is what is responsible for those that have imported farm machineries not to be able to clear their farm machinery because the exchange rate is quite prohibitive. So this is the right step in the right direction, and we urge government to move swiftly on that.
This is how I would like us to anchor. I mean, there's been a lot of pressure on the Naira. Inflation, headline inflation on the rise, food inflation on the rise, but we're seeing some movement. And I'm very sure that we live in the same city, so you probably would have seen some, and some of what I said about the fact that a few days ago, the dollar sold to the Naira at 1,400 at the parallel market on the streets of Abuja. Right. Today, we are hearing that there is panic. And some are even selling at 900.
That is it.
So we wonder, what is your own observation about the economy in the last few days, especially the CBN, the bottom line for an average citizen? What have you seen as a Labour leader?
Yes, for us, for the MPC, the tightening of the monetary policy rate that happened, that moved by 200 basis points from 22.75 to 24.75. For us, there is a misfeeling depending on whom you are talking with, because it could squeeze liquidity and it could also increase the borrowing cost. And that at the end is going to be passed to the consumer. But overall, Sheung, what is happening today in the FS space is quite good because it will have overriding effect on the consumer. Today, Sheung, if the FS rate is crashed to about 600 to 700 Naira, the cost of the cameras you are buying in this studio will come down. The cost of the televisions that are here are going to come down. The cost of your laptop and your iPad, they are going to come down. So that is actually our focus, and that is our push.
Festus Osifo is the president of TUC also. He's the leader of Pengistan also. He wears two hats, although he doesn't really wear it because he comes with a natural hat. That is hair. Thank you so much, Festus Osifo, for joining us tonight and giving us perspective. You see how this goes in the coming week. There will be an alignment with NLC, then later on the tripartite committee. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I'm Sean Okimaloye. Bye for now.